Command Station, this is ST-321, code clearance blue. I am starting my approach. Grant permission to park.
It's for you.
Oh, thank you. Permission will be given when we have confirmation of your code transmission. Stand by. You're clear to proceed.
I am starting my approach.
Inform the vet the Stark Lord's car has arrived.
Sir.
Stark Lord, this is an unexpected pleasure. We are honored by your presence.
We dispense with the pleasantries, Vet. I'm here to get touching base back on schedule.
I assure you, Stark Lord, my men are working as best they can.
Maybe I can find new ways to motivate them.
I assure you that new episodes of Touching Base are coming out as often as possible.
The wildcard does not agree with your optimistic appraisal of the situation.
But he asks the impossible. I need more men.
Maybe you can tell him that when he arrives.
Wildcard is coming here?
Correct, Vet, and he's most displeased with your apparent lack of progress.
We shall double our efforts.
See that you do. The wild card is not as forgiving as I am.
Hello, fearless gamers. Now witness the awesome firepower in this fully cast and operational video series. Commander, you may play the opening at will.
Yeah, give me a minute.
Any minute now.
Give me a minute. Oh, yeah.
You okay over there? Now, please.
Fine. You'll never let me have any fun.
So, we're all here.
It got crowded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like you can go.
I don't have my
go on.
room to like...
But I'm the favorite.
Take your little footies and...
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, I think there was a tie on that.
Listen.
Taken.
Yeah.
No,
and
you got one vote.
Okay, fine. How about
Oh,
this? All three of you just take your little booties and go, and I'll do the show by myself, and it'll be
Terrible. So we're not
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Yeah. The show by itself would just you sitting there staring at the camera.
making noises.
Basically.
So,
Fully armed and operational space station. I am looking for someone to join me on an adventure. Senile Gandalf. 30 minutes straight. All subs lost.
So,
We don't do that.
do we got any news? Any news going around?
The Assassin's Creed 4 DLC Freedom Cry came out, what's today, the 21st? Came out 4 days ago.
Today the 21st?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
I thought it was the
Oh.
22nd.
Other
the
news.
22nd.
Oh, okay, so it came out 5 days ago. Whatever. Either way, I've played the first hour or so of it. It's very good. Well, okay, it's good. I haven't played enough of it to determine whether or not the subject matter is being handled properly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm enjoying it so far.
Fair enough.
Also, Christmas in a couple of days, guys.
Yep. Yay! Hopefully this will be up by before then.
Christmas.
For all you that enjoy Christmas.
Christmas.
Yes.
Any other new news? Xmas?
Every company everywhere has released new models.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Really?
Except for GW.
I can't even make a list, except for like GW.
GW, they're waiting for the NIDS next month.
Yeah.
Well, they also released a lot like in the months prior.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that in a while, but like just about every company has just been releasing a ton of stuff that it's like impossible for me to keep up with everybody. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot. On that note, there's also a bunch of Kickstarters happening that have succeeded, namely, at least in my books, the Alien vs. Predator war game / board game. Totally blew itself out of the water in a great way.
Now,
Hit all its goals.
How could it not?
but it blew itself out of the water. Sounds like it
In a bad way.
self-destructed.
We're done. Boom.
It hit
See a
every
Muppet
single
doing
stretch
that.
goal
Like
that
the
it
Swedish
had
chef.
on the
Nice.
last day.
What's his
So hopefully.
No. Plunger dude.
Plunger dude.
Oh, the dude with the mustache and
No.
fishes?
Did somebody say bang? You don't remember that guy? How can no one remember this dude?
Anyways,
In the Muppet movie.
We're
it's
ignoring
I hear
Muppet
this
right now.
movie is dynamite and he blows them up.
anyways, so
You uncultured swines.
no, we're humans. I'm pretty sure. At least
Our flesh is similar enough.
it's true. It is very
You're a
similar.
swine. I decree it.
It could be true.
Because you're wearing a mask, what do we know what you are underneath that?
got a curly tail. It's kind of cute.
Anyways, can we get back to the topic?
No!
So they blew out all their stretch goals. I spent way too much money on that game, so hopefully when
You
it
did.
comes out in like a year.
He spent like 6 figures on that game.
No, I did not. I don't have 6 figures.
Not anymore.
Or you spent it on there.
Nicely done. Thank you, sir.
This is why we don't have a nice place to shoot.
No, we don't. I spent all of our money,
You
all of
could
our
have
budget.
invested in
on,
Fearless Games, but instead you were like, I like Colonial Marines a lot.
I love
You didn't
Colonial
e-
Marines.
You didn't even do it for like the Predators or the Xenomorphs. You're like, I like the ones who are the food.
Or the food.
Like you picked that game because you like the cows.
That's like picking. That's like picking a steakhouse for their salads.
Yeah.
or go to a sushi place for the burger.
Well, you already know the sushi is good or the steak is good. You want that extra little bit, and Colonial Marines are that extra little bit.
No,
Hey, listen, the Colonial Marines
no.
make a great
They're-
setting.
They're like the cinnamon butter at Texas Roadhouse.
Colonial
you don't go
Marines-
there for that, but it's great to have.
I'm sorry, Stark Lord, but Colonial Marines are like a freaking homework assignment.
What?
Like, if Predators are the steak and Xenomorphs are the sizzle, the Colonial Marines are the cleanup afterwards. Like, oh, I have,
the bus-
I love the Colonial
I have
Marines. There's
dishes to
nothing
do.
interesting in half that stuff.
They're the busboy.
I love those guys.
Like that. They're the dishes you have to do later.
How can you not like the M41A pulse rifle?
Because it didn't do anything good.
It's a wonderful thing.
Because what I like is a cannon mounted on my shoulder.
Yeah.
That sort of just like picks you out of a crowd.
Listen,
And has like 3 little red dots because 3 is better than 1.
I want to make a T-shirt where it's just 3 red dots on it, off center.
Of course. No, you'd have to.
So-
with like a slight glow effect.
Yes.
So,
I'd buy it.
Anyways,
from this
we'll be
topic
adding that to our
discussion
stuff
here,
when it comes in.
I've got a question for you guys. There seems to be a lot of stuff out there now for gaming than there used to be.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
we
it's 2013.
have we kind of hit like a golden age of gaming?
I hate to use the term golden age. That
You know-
implies we're gonna go back to like wiping our butts with sandpaper or something. Like, I don't want to do that anymore.
You know
You
what it
can't
is?
call something the golden age until you have something to compare it to.
Exactly. That's the thing. Is Golden Age is more of a retrospective term. We may, in 10, 15, 20 years, look back and call this the Golden Age of gaming, depending on what happens.
What I will
However, there are, I guarantee you, people who look back at the 70s when all we had was like 40K,
hunks of metal.
Dungeons and Dragons,
And fantasy.
and like 2 colors of paint,
Yeah.
and like black and white movies. And say like that was the golden age of gaming when, because nostalgia.
Yes.
Right. But I will say, I think as far as gaming goes, not just wargaming, but gaming in general, we have hit kind of a renaissance where technology is exploding on the scene.
Renaissance is a good term for it.
Because I mean, look at in the past, in 2013 and before, but we really hit like check out these awesome plastic figures. In fact, Kingdoms of Death was it that had
Oh my
Kickstarter
God.
with those things are now plastic injection.
They're now
mold?
plastic?
Yeah,
I thought they
Yeah.
were still
and it's
resin.
still
the,
amazing detail with like the weird like.
That's
pinup
with the
models.
ones with all the babies on the
I
models.
want to get
The
that.
one
They-
that half the models can't be shown on the family friendly
Has that
channel.
been like released yet?
I don't know
Like for me
exactly,
to purchase? Because
but
I
I've
want it.
seen
Not
pictures of.
the game itself.
I didn't get into the Kickstarter in time. That's why
Yeah,
I'm
but
asking.
their models are now plastic molded, injected molded models of that same detail. So
Well, yeah,
you
they would
see-
have. They would have to because there's no way they're gonna sell that with resin.
But the point is, like, if you did that 5 years ago, you wouldn't get the plastic detail. Like,
Well,
we're
yeah,
hitting,
technology.
we're hitting like that
Well,
Renaissance.
yeah,
stuff.
we've got that technology. We have. Excuse me.
CAD is getting better all the
The
time.
drink I
That's
had
what you're
during
saying.
during filming the intro is repeating on me. We have that technology. We have 3D printing is becoming more
Yes.
and more
Yeah.
viable as an option. Like if you look, like if you keep up with 3D printing, like that stuff actually gets pretty detailed.
Yeah.
Oh, it can.
Well, I mean, a couple of companies are still using it just for prototyping, like Dystopian guys.
Yeah, but you can use that
Spartan
for
Games.
actual production at
Yeah,
this point.
but they're
I,
just doing their prototypes and that, and then they mold them, and it still all looks great. for the most part.
I've been picking some like I've picked up a couple of like 3D printed models just to like test paint them.
Mhm.
You were aware of the one that I bought was like the cheapest possible material.
Yeah, we could not paint that thing at all.
Oh no, I painted it. It just was annoying and it took forever. But I
Yeah.
picked up one that was like the step above, painted decently.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna keep my eye on the 3D printing industry as
Oh.
far as like paintability goes, because that could be a step to the future.
That is true, and going along with that is, I want to say a recent explosion of the whole idea of funding a game, like a Kickstarter or Indiegogo type
Yeah.
of thing. I don't know yet if it's for better or worse that it's catching on so well, because we had the AVP, we got the Robotech one, which has been delayed till 2014, but I mean, the stuff they're releasing is top notch.
There's so many that have been that
Yeah,
got
but-
kickstarted. So many.
It will either bring us into a world in which any good game can see release and publication, or it'll cause like like Mass Effect. Like it'll cause like critical mass rather. Mass Effect. I like those games though. It'll cause like critical mass where like the gaming industry will just have so many things, and some of them will be so bad that it'll just collapse in on itself like a dwarf star. And just the industry will get sucked into a black hole and we'll go back to Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer 40k, hunks of metal, two colors of paint, and black and white movies.
I mean, we can kind of use
Thank you, Jay.
we can kind of use the video game thing with kickstarting it as kind of I think a go by, because that's been doing it longer with more success.
Yeah.
And you do get a lot of like those indie games where you go, that was cute, but nah, and then you get this was amazing.
Well,
So
the difference there is that with the indie games that get like kickstarted and released, a lot of them do digital release.
they did.
Yeah.
With things like tabletop games, you need shelf space.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course, but at the same
So
time, I think
that'll be that's the I think that's the big challenge.
the quality.
Yeah.
I mean, like as far as quality of, let's just use the word plot and the quality of like the gameplay versus
Overall quality.
overall quality. I think we can see how the video game, the video game PC, whatever gaming industry goes. Because if that all of a sudden goes abandoned ship and it just blows up, then we know, all right, we got a problem.
I'm picturing that like the end of an episode of like Aqua Teen Hunger Force. It's just like abandoned ship and then the computer just has a really like poor explosion effect.
Well, they spent their budget on the entire intro. So they can't-
Yeah. My concern with this renaissance, if you will, is that since there's so many games out there now, or so many games trying to be in so many different models, that sometimes it's hard to find people that A, play the game you want to play,
Yes.
or B, anything. Because like I don't know anyone
That's
right now
the
that
big challenge.
plays Dystopian Legions. I don't know anyone. I only know about 5 people who play Infinity, but I don't have time to play with
Yeah,
them.
that's the biggest challenge.
And
then,
that
like-
AVP is going to be really tough. Fortunately, they designed the game to be a board game also, so I can at least get convince other people to play it occasionally.
Yeah, Robotech is similar in the smallness you can play it in because it's an RPG Tactics is what it's called. Then you have things like Dead Zone, which come out, and like you mentioned, people who play it is an issue. And another issue with that is, model quality is getting up there, where even like the average Joe of his garage can make a pretty good looking model
Right.
of something that
Yeah.
that is not edible, and well, yes,
Or is edible.
or is edible. You never know.
We went the way technology's going.
Exactly.
3D printers can print.
They make a
Organic.
Dremel for pumpkins now. Like,
That is
and it's
awesome.
Awesome.
Although Couldn't you just have used, I don't know, every other Dremel tool existing already?
Probably, but this one has like specific stuff meant for the
Self-cleaning?
pumpkin, so maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't know if you've ever tried to carve a pumpkin with a Dremel, but it gets a little messy.
Well, yeah, pumpkins are a messy creature.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have to chase them down so long.
Yes.
True.
But my concern with, aside from the fact of finding somebody to play the games with, is we're wowing people with showing how awesome this looks, and we're showing decent-esque gameplay, but let's be serial here for a second. Games Workshop,
Many weeks.
Games Workshop and Privateer Press have many years in refining it to make it an enjoyable gaming experience.
Right.
And with carpet bombing the scene, is it going to be a lot of long-term follow-up to really polish it?
I think that will be the biggest challenge for a lot of people who are using Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I think it will also maybe, I'm thinking probably over the next couple of years, you'll start to see maybe a trend change amongst games that are funded via Kickstarter, Indiegogo, crowdfunding in general, to be potentially more standalone or could be made into a tournament scene kind of thing.
Right.
Because of the fact that with the more games that are out there, the harder it will be to find other players. So one of the best examples I've seen of a game that has come out, not necessarily by crowdfunding, but just in general, that has you can play this as sort of a board game, or you can play this as a more serious tabletop game, was the Game of Thrones card game. The starter set gives you 4 decks and can just be played like a 4-person basic game for fun every now and again, just pick it up and play. Or you can jump down the rabbit hole and get into the actual tournament scene that does exist. Is it the size of Magic? No. Is it the size of Yu-Gi-Oh? Maybe. I'm not really up to the Yu-Gi-Oh scene right now. Well, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is still huge.
Yeah.
Pokemon's still out there, which is
Though
I'd say it's probably about the size of the Pokemon.
Magic has the largest tournament scene, but Yu-Gi-Oh I think is pulling in the most money right now.
Well, yeah, because that's how Yu-Gi-Oh works.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh is designed to make the maximum amount of money with how they package it. For those of you who play Yu-Gi-Oh, you're getting ripped off every time you buy that game. Just saying.
But I think that will be the trend, at least for a little while, where games will be made to either be, this is the box set, you have the board and the stuff that comes with the core set, you can just play this and have fun with it. But remember, we have other offerings to make it a more serious game.
Yeah.
Because I think that will allow people who can only get like a couple of friends to come over now and again to play the core set, to play the game. While people who are in an area, like a more metropolitan area like New York, where I guarantee you, like if we went into Manhattan and spent like a weekend in Manhattan at like game stores, we'd probably find a handful of people who played Dystopian Legions, a handful of people who played, Infinity.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many people in Manhattan.
Oh yeah.
Or like Chicago, or
the population density is
Melbourne,
what's
Australia. Maybe not Melbourne, because it's hard to get things in Australia. But that was
It's
the only like
it's
major city I could
expensive.
think of.
Yeah, that's expensive.
London.
London.
So having the option to expand your gameplay probably is the best bet monetarily.
Now that brings up a good point, because we're looking at all this stuff popping up. Are we seeing the age of dinosaurs that may potentially die off for like the new evolution of gaming? Example, a lot of the card games out now are not collectible card games.
Right.
They're doing it different. But yet you have Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, and Pokemon still hanging on there that are CCGs.
Right, but now we have like LCG.
Have we witnessed the era of the death of the CCG, and does that mean that if Magic and them don't evolve, that they'll eventually get strangled out, or are they going to be like grandfathered in?
I think Magic will be. I don't think Magic at this point can change into an LCG format.
It's no way.
You can start releasing other decks and stuff, and they have that alternate version where they have the pre-constructed deck, so they kind of do
But
that.
yeah, but pre-cons are like, here, buy this, and if you want it to be good,
Add
update
this.
it.
Right.
Basically, the reason other CCGs don't exist is because Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon are so successful.
Well,
You
I think-
kicked everyone out because you have to basically choose one if you really want to be serious about it.
I think Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon are like the great old ones of card gaming.
Yes.
Where they will never truly die.
They have
It's just like I think Pokemon is the Cthulhu because it's more likely to fall asleep for a long time.
Yeah.
Wow.
But whereas like Magic is just like Hoster, where if you say its name 3 times, it's gonna show up.
Not only will it show up, but Magic, I feel, out of the big 3, is hyper infectious. You start playing it and you go, take my money.
Right.
No, once
And it
you
destroys you.
understand the
Hoster.
game,
Magic,
once
magic.
you understand that game, you get addicted. I've gotten many people addicted to it. It's wonderful. And they can't help it. And they spend $100 like immediately.
Right. Whereas
It's
I
weird
think-
how that works.
Yeah.
I think because those 3 major predators, as it were, have caused just such an ecological impossibility for the same kind of creature to raise to that level.
They exist in that ecological gaming niche.
Right.
So this new one has formed.
Right. The mammal
living-
came out from underneath the rocks
Yeah.
and started picking at the moss.
Right, but are we going to see this turn? Are we going to see the big 3 stay as prevalent? Or are they going to become like the GURPS, where like people play it, you heard about
I
it?
think
Good old GURPS.
that I think we're gonna see that type of thing happen more with the wargaming scenario. Like I feel like I'm just a general opinion going off of the public and such. We've got like the 2 big ones right now: Privateer Press and Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Privateer Press is keeping everybody happy with with good rule sets, followed by with the player community. And small games. Games are like 7-8 model max
No,
at
they're
one
not.
point.
9
No,
more.
they are.
No.
Yes.
At the 30-point level, it's a much bigger game now.
No, it's not, because I have a 30-point army and I only have like 7-8 models.
Well, here's the
Mommy
deal.
and Daddy are
They're playing
fighting.
wrong.
No, here's
Mommy
the
and
deal.
Daddy are fighting.
but
But here's the
game's
deal with
gotten
that.
too
The game has gotten bigger. Nobody can deny that. It's just like you can play 11 model Games Workshop 40K game.
but I'm just saying, you got that small system
It's
set up
smaller.
there. And then you got Warhammer 40K, which seems to be getting everyone angry with their pricings and such. And so I think, personally, that what we may start seeing in the wargaming scenario is companies either burying their feet in the sand and refusing to change, or trying to compete the wrong way with other game companies and throw themselves out.
I
Like
think
going,
it's a
oh
different
well,
business
instead of oh, this game's doing popular, well, let's just raise our prices, and eventually we may see some gaming companies just price themselves out of existence.
I think with that, like GW is huge and is doing that here and there, but
Not
they're
Games Workshop specific.
Yeah, but I think something like that company, because it's so profitable with money it makes, can be the company it is, which is absolutely all-encompassing. You don't have to visit outside the company to get everything you need, down to the dice and the transport cases.
Yep.
And terrain. You don't have to go elsewhere. In fact, you have to go there for 40K specific terrain because it's the only thing that looks cool and fits with the models.
Yeah.
But other companies obviously don't have the infrastructure to be that big. But I think something like when you get that megalithic, unless you just go bam, you're not gonna just sink. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yes, I'm not saying generally.
I know you're not.
I'm saying like we may see some of these companies that are on the rise
Here's a
eventually
question I
kill
have
themselves.
I have for you guys real quick because I know you guys play it.
He wants
Let me just jump in with one thing. I think that's something that will possibly happen, but not yet.
Oh,
yeah.
Because we haven't seen anyone make a war game that changes the marketing and publishing format in the same way that the living card game format has changed card games from CCGs to LCGs is a huge difference.
Yeah.
Whereas wargaming is still very much
The same.
across the board, pretty much the same thing
I feel like that's by design.
as far as marketing goes.
yeah, I feel like that's by design of a war game.
Probably, but when someone comes up with another idea that works,
Oh yeah.
that'll be when we start to wonder, ooh, is Games Workshop going to change their stuff? Is Privateer Press going to change their stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't think we have to worry about that yet.
There's one last note I want to say of concern before we get to your question.
Oh, God.
So with all these new things, there's also the chance of fad-iness. Like things like,
Like
oh, this is really
pods?
cool for a week. Yeah, like pods.
Yeah.
I miss Pods.
I still have my pod collection.
I think
don't.
I still have mine.
I don't
wish I
have mine
did.
anymore.
I think it's still
I used to
mine.
carry them in a coffin.
I had a
But-
slammer that was an inch and a half tall.
Why?
Yeah,
it was
Why
awesome.
not?
I have the tower one.
Yeah,
Wow.
you just drop it and you win.
I had one you
anyways.
could use as like brass knuckles.
Anyways, but like
That's
we've
the
seen
new
this
ones
in
done
our
right.
own local game stores where people are like, hey, let's get into Uncharted Seas for 3 weeks and then they stop. Let's get into Heavy
Right.
Gear for 2 months and then maybe 2 guys continue, but most of them stop. And then
Right.
people jump in and then jump out and then like games fade.
You're gonna have the fattiness because there's blood in the water with this ability to just fund something out of nothing.
Yeah.
You're gonna have fad just come
Can we
along.
clarify? We are saying fad-iness.
Yeah, fad.
F-A-D Ines.
Yes.
Because I heard something else just continue.
with the fattiness,
Sorry.
or the fattiness of gaming.
Hey.
Not you. I meant the
He's kind of fat.
structure. Because of the whole ability, with clever marketing and stuff, we could get a game funded in theory if we had some type of structure for it.
And it could be popular for a few weeks,
It could
and then
be.
nobody played it ever again.
I think that's part of the human condition of gaming is you complain, you do it, and then you go, okay, I'm done with that. Let's go
Right.
back to what I complained about and
Right,
do it,
yeah.
and,
Yep.
and then start loving it again.
Yeah.
But my question is this:
World of Warcraft.
right?
Never be.
Everything that every 40K player out there, whenever something changes. But anyway, could y'all come back to it?
We do.
We got wargaming. Wargaming is blowing up. Clicks. Is this the extinction of clicks?
Well, the clicks format because you
Clicks has been on its deathbed for a while.
It has
Yeah.
been, but is this the death knell?
Yeah.
Because you don't need. It's very like I think War Machine proved that you don't need to click it to win it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But the thing is, the clicks, they were trying to make, again, comparing to CCG, LCG, they were trying to make a different format, and they tried to make a CCG out of miniatures,
Uh-huh.
and it just did not work.
I got
I think that was when clicks, at least for me, stopped being fun. Was
Yeah.
when they started adding so much more. Like when it first
with the
came out, when it was just
cards.
a little click room.
Oh, yeah, but it was also just...
Once they started adding cards and stuff, I was
Yeah.
like, you guys have lost your
Yeah.
way.
Yeah,
what I
like
mean
as
is,
soon as I
like,
played my
they-
first game and someone dropped one of
Oh,
these
you mean
cards.
like the random aspect.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
random
Okay.
getting of models aspect. But yeah, going past that, they originally started with everything you need to know is on this disc and maybe a little bit of a reference because you don't remember the rules yet, and then they expanded way too much and then stopped being.
I got in on
I
the ground
think-
floor with Mage Knight when it first came out.
Yeah.
Mage Knight was cool.
I think that format, because it does still exist somehow,
Yep.
I think that will finally be completely done for when a game comes out that fills the niches that it fills. Like, for example, HeroClix probably is still... Is
still
HeroClix
plays.
They're still around.
They still make it.
it's
They
still
still
around
play.
because
Go to Grasshopper.
people
Yep.
love superheroes.
Yeah.
Right.
So until another game comes out that is a superheroes mini game, HeroClix is going to be around.
Right.
Hobbit Clicks is a thing.
The closest we've
It's,
gotten to
you know-
a modification on it is the new X-Wing game.
Yeah.
It's not really clicks, but it's the pre-painted models, and it's not randomly
Right.
put together, and it's the closest to making that model
The
work.
whole thing about a click game is it originated because wargaming is an intensive thing to get started in, and it
Yeah.
takes a lot of time to build
Right.
it. Now, I played Mage Knight when it first came out. I got the starter set and a couple of expansions. Me and a buddy of mine. We played it. We had fun, but it was just us. We didn't
Right.
know anybody enough because we were still in high school at the time. But when I tried to follow Mage Knight, and then so wait, you got one base with 4 clicks on it. I'm out. It's just too many. Why? It's just crazy. It was just crazy. Then I picked up just to have it Mech Warrior because BattleTech is a war game. Mech Warrior is a click game. Now I think the reason the Mech Warrior clicks I think still exists in one way, shape, or form because they went up from assault to just like colossal mechs, which are way above 100 tons. But anyway, they did that because I think it's a lot easier to go. Okay, I got a force for a couple people to play. We can just do a pickup game. Where with BattleTech, you really can't. But I think if BattleTech got popular again, it would kill Mech Warrior Click because Mech Warrior Click picks up where the BattleTech game leaves off. So I think that's where I think clicks are like Nintendo. People dust it off every so often and play it, but I think that's really it.
And with that, we're starting to run out of time here.
Okay.
So general last thoughts, and then one last thing. Would you all agree that 2013 is the age of gaming right now?
I think.
The year of gaming.
Using that language, no, but I'm picky about language. I do think it is a great time in which to be a gamer, as long as you are also an intelligent consumer.
I think that I think we're seeing it as the renaissance of 5 years up to 2013 of the technology and things progressing. I think 2013 is when a lot of the cogs fell into place and went, wow, this has been a year of gaming. Is it the year of gaming? No, it's been a year of gaming for sure.
It's definitely been a year of gaming, like both of you have just said. I'm looking forward to the advances the next year or two to see what we can do with adding other technologies into our games. I want Google Glass with 40K.
No.
I'm just saying it.
No.
Come on.
And
Come on.
I would say
Do
that
it.
I'd say also that yes, this was definitely a year for gamers, and I think that we can expect a lot more bigger and better things to come shortly thereafter from this time period. And before we leave, Milena, could you grab the thingy? In case anyone isn't aware, it was this guy's birthday a couple of weeks ago.
Like,
Also,
like a month ago.
You just want Google Glass in your mask.
Yes.
who wouldn't want
And
Google Glass
so,
in their mask?
Give me a reason
We
where
tried to
my
get
photos
this to you, but you kept refusing. Joe,
Oh,
just
we-
come over here.
We got him a we got him a birthday gift.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Nobody tells me nothing.
Yes, we
Happy
did.
birthday.
Oh.
That's very pretty.
The circle of life.
So, with that,
Wait
Thank
a
you all.
40k, get a 40k book happy again. Done.
Boom.
thank you for all watching, and until next time, fearless gamers, take care.
Happy New Year.